Still.
Like, bro, hey. I know you see me with these 10 carts. Chill out. Drive correctly, because I know you see me. You hit me, I promise you it's on and popping. Sup? No. Right. All of these stores clubbed. I'm saying.
Something really strange happened last week.
Right.
So I went to the local Walmart.
Last week? When? 2001? April 1st? Huh? Like, what you... Oh, I need some details.
Where I live, sort of late at night. I only needed a couple of quick things, and I was hoping to be in and out. Walmart is the easiest store to go to for me because I live less than a mile away.
Right.
So I left my apartment and quickly drove there and then parked my car. By now, it was after 10 o'clock at night. I was expecting the store to be pretty quiet because of this, and when I walked inside, there didn't seem to be very many people around. However, when I was in the far back of the store getting milk, I saw this woman standing sort of near me. As I opened the freezer door to select the milk, the woman started walking over to me. When she reached me and got within about 5 feet from where I was standing, she stopped, but she didn't say anything. She just looked at me. This woman had brown hair, looked to be maybe 45 to 50.
I would have said, lady, what? Lady, what? What do you... Because you 5 feet too close. What do you want? Huh? Say something. Say something. I'm out of here. And I'm dropping the milk on the floor. Because what?
Sweatshirt and sweatpants. After she just stared at me for a few seconds, I said hi to her and asked her what was going on. She said nothing. She just stared at me. It was really weird. I figured that maybe something was wrong with her or something like that, so I just got the milk and then walked away. The woman did not follow me. She stayed where she was. However, she did keep watching me, which was strange. I walked away and went on with trying to get the items that I needed. Like I said, I didn't need too much stuff, so I only shopped for like another 5 minutes or so. Then I went up to the self-checkouts in the store. When I was scanning my items, I looked around and happened to notice the woman again. She was standing a ways away, just staring at me once more. I found this to be especially odd. Was she following me or something? I certainly had never seen her before this day. But overall, I figured that I would just leave and never see her again. So I walked out of the store and then back to my car in the parking lot. I wasn't looking around to see if she was following me or anything. I wasn't scared of the lady, and I didn't think she even...
I'm saying, you don't gotta be scared, but at least watch your surroundings. And watch, you're gonna see her again.
Left the store. However, after putting my items in the car and then starting it up, I saw her. She was now pushing a cart in the parking lot and heading right towards me.
See what I'm saying?
As it was, she was only about 20 feet away. The woman pushed her cart, which was empty, straight for my vehicle. Then she rammed the cart right into my car.
Oh!
It was really hard too, like she was...
Oh! Now what's up? Now we got, what's up? Now we got throw hands. What's good? I just got this car. Today. What?
Trying to damage it. She backed it up and then rammed it again. Then she started repeatedly ramming it into my car over and over again. She didn't say anything, but did have an angry look on her face. I really was not expecting that. I quickly hit the gas pedal and got out of there quick. When I had made it off the property, I called the cops. I reported the woman and what she was doing.
Don't Walmarts have security? Or is that like... I'm trying to take off my sock. Or is that like... some securities? You know? Because where I'm at, where I live, it's it's police officers there all the time. All the time. No Walmart security, you know, no off-duty, not off-duty, no Walmart security, no off-brand security. It's full-on cops, 911 looking at us. But I'm thinking that's like just some Walmarts because they like I go to some Walmarts and like nicer neighborhoods and it's no security. It's like they don't even check your receipts, right? Like some of the Walmarts I go to in the nice neighborhoods.
Back to my place, I looked at the damage. It wasn't too bad, but there were a few small dents and some very noticeable scratches on my car. I don't know what that woman's problem was. I figured that she had to be on drugs. Overall, it's pretty crazy because it was so unexpected. I still haven't got my car fixed.
Dealing with Walmart, every time you go to Walmart or like within a 6-mile radius, expect the worst. Every time you enter a Walmart or you're on their property, expect the absolute worst.
I'm not sure when I will, but I plan to. I just hope that I never see that lady again.
You probably will. Seems like Walmart her home.
I used to work at Walmart for a span of 6 months.
Right.
I have a number of stories, mostly funny things that happened.
Hell no.
However, one of the strangest and kind of creepy things still puzzles me today. So at Walmart, I mostly stocked shelves, especially later at night. I'd start work and then the store would close, and I'd work basically an overnight shift.
Oh, Jesus.
The Walmart is open until 11 p.m., so when I would first get there would still be people there. One time, not too long after starting, the store was basically dead, but still open. We were closing in a bit, and I was all by myself in an aisle in the grocery department. I had several large boxes of products that I was putting onto the shelves. As I was doing this, I remembered that this guy came into the aisle that I was in. I didn't bat an eye, but I knew that somebody was there. This guy, though, walked over to me and then stood right behind me, but didn't say anything. I turned around and saw this guy with bleach blonde hair.
Are you a man or a woman? Because, there's a difference.
Looking like he was straight out of 1999 or something. He was kind of skinny and wore a yellow and green shirt. He asked me where the eggs were. I told him that they were 2 aisles down and pointed in the direction. Then the man walked off that way. That was where the dairy products were, and despite the guy looking kind of strange...
You know what's weird? That was a sus-ass question. Where the eggs? If you ever go to Walmart, 9 times out of 10, they got big-ass signs that says eggs, or dairy, or milk, or whatever. He up to no good.
Pretty normal interaction. So I continued work, now by myself. About 2 or 3 minutes later, an egg came flying over the aisle next to me and landed on the ground and broke.
Oh shit! Oh my God! I was not. Hey, I was not expecting you to say that. And you know what's even more funnier is like, I be on social media sometimes, and like, there's these. Sometimes I see these videos of like people in Walmart, like specifically Walmart, just like launching like bears, teddy bears, stuffed animals, and toys, and just launching them across the aisle. But not no damn egg. Oh my God.
It had landed just a few feet away from where I was. I stopped working and looked around. I didn't see anyone, but then another egg came flying over. This one hit the ground and broke just a few feet away from me, even closer than the last one. I knew right away what was going on. The guy who I had told where the eggs were was now tossing them at me. Most likely this was some kind of a prank. I looked around, wondering if I was being filmed for a reaction or something. However, I did not see anybody within view of me at all. As I was looking, another egg came flying over and hit the ground. Then I ran out of the aisle to see who was doing it. As soon as I got towards the end of the aisle, I heard somebody running away. I made it around to the next aisle and just barely saw that same guy running off. There did not appear to be anybody with him, so it seemed as though he acted alone. I tried to keep chasing after him. I jogged over and yelled at him to stop, but of course he didn't. He only went faster and got farther away from me, and before long, he was lost. I couldn't just chase him all the way around the store as much as I wanted to. I was kind of angry about it, but I just went back though. Then I cleaned up the eggs on the ground in my aisle. If he did it again, there would be real problems. After cleaning, I went and found my supervisor.
Can you imagine the worker, this worker that this story is about. Can you imagine if they was like on some like other shit? You know, talking about you got the right one today. You got the right one today. Oh, best believe I got eggs in my pockets. What's up? I got eggs in my pockets. What's up? You got the right one today. Okay, you want to throw some eggs? You want ha ha ha
and let me know what had happened, and to keep an eye out for the guy. Then I went back to work. For the rest of my shift, I didn't see the guy, and things were fine. I got off work early the next morning, and it was still dark out. So I left the store and then walked out to my car in the parking lot. When I arrived at it, I saw that it had been egged.
Oh!
There were eggs smashed all over my windshield, roof, and doors.
Okay.
I was really ticked off. I knew that same guy had got me again. I got in and drove straight to a car wash and got it looking nice again. But as I was driving home, I realized, how did that man know which car was mine? There would really be no way of knowing that information.
Okay. What if, okay, to answer that question that you just said, I got a couple options. I got a couple theories. What if there's like a coworker that's out to get you, but they don't want to do the egg throwing. So they got somebody else, one of their homies, to go egg you in your car. Or what if it's like your ex, and your ex knows somebody that you don't, and that's what this story is about. Or it could randomly just, but like, how do they know unless they was watching you from the start, like from the parking lot type stuff? I don't understand how they would know it's your car. Either it's an inside job from one of your employees, or homie was just watching you ever since you parked your car.
Of course, either watched me get in or out of it or something like that. That made the whole thing seem that much weirder to me. And why did the guy do that in the first place? It wasn't for some prank YouTube or TikTok video. This seemed to be for his own amusement. I never saw that guy again when working there. I saw some strange people in my time working at Walmart, but I will always remember that guy as the strangest.
Eggs is crazy. Especially whole egg, like uncooked egg. Raw eggs? Oh, man.
I worked in the Walmart customer service area a few years ago. It was a job that was all right. I didn't love it or hate it. It was better than working as a cashier to me, which I did for a while until moving to the customer service. At our store, it was in the front, just past the check lanes. Most commonly, we would deal with returns and that sort of stuff. During this time period, I lived with a roommate in a house that we rented together. My roommate's name was Shirley, and we were friends.
Shirley?
So one night, I was by myself working in the customer service area in Walmart. It was a quiet night, and we were going to be closing within the next couple of hours. I wasn't doing a whole lot anymore and was looking forward to going home soon. So then I remember seeing this guy come in holding a few Walmart bags. I figured that the guy was going to make some returns. He was wearing a large black t-shirt, jeans, and a backwards baseball cap. He also had a goatee and looked fairly young. The guy then dumped out the Walmart bags onto the counter and said that he was making a return. However, when I saw the items, I was very confused. Some were clothing and some were random household objects, like a candle, a bottle of wine, and a blanket. None of the objects were in their original packaging though, and I soon realized that none of the items were sold at Walmart either. It was just random stuff. I continued to look at it, feeling very confused now. As I did, I saw something that made my heart drop. It was a picture frame with a picture in it that was of me and my sister taken when we were younger. And that's when I realized that all this stuff was my stuff. I stopped looking at it and then looked up at the man. I asked him, "Where did you get this stuff?" He just started laughing and then turned and walked away.
What?
I stood there frozen, not sure what to do. Should I chase after the man? Should I call the police? Should I do nothing? The man quickly went away, and then I looked at all the stuff again. Sure enough, it belonged to me and had been in my house. There were...
I think you should change your locks. Or get a new roommate. Or get an apartment. Yeah. Because I feel like your roommate's in cahoots.
Few items that were not mine, but belonged to my roommate Shirley. I realized that somebody must have broken into our house or something. I got out my phone and called Shirley. She was not home, but was also at work like I was and had left for work shortly after I did that day. I told her about it. She was just as surprised as me. Then I told a coworker and then my manager. After she heard about it, she said they would look into it, and my manager told me I was allowed to go home early. I only had about an hour left of my shift anyways. I left and went home. For some reason, I didn't call the police at that point. When I arrived back, I parked my car and looked around. Everything seemed normal. There were no suspicious cars or people to be seen in the area. All the lights in my house appeared off, and nothing seemed to be out of place outside at a glance. So I got out of my car and walked to the front door. It was still locked, and I saw that the windows were not broken.
What?
I was, however, too nervous to go inside, so I walked all around the house, examining it. I didn't see any broken windows or anything, but when I got to the back door, I opened it and it was not locked. This really creeped me out, and I ran back for my car and got inside of it. Then I called the police. I waited for them in my car and watched my house, but nothing happened. The police arrived, and I gave them permission to enter my house and search it. They did just that and found nobody inside. However, there were many missing things. My laptop, Shirley's laptop, her iPad, some money that we each had, jewelry, clothes, speakers, and some other stuff were stolen. They walked in the back door, which Shirley did not lock. This was scary enough as it was, but the fact
See
that...
what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? See, you see what I'm saying? Ig is not checking the checklist, either on accident or on purpose. Shirley, what's good? I need to talk to you after work when you come home. I just want to let you know.
I walked right into the Walmart with, I guess, the stuff that he stole but he didn't want anymore. It was really creepy. We had him on surveillance video at the Walmart, but he did not appear to drive to the Walmart, but just walk. They tried to identify him, but the security camera footage wasn't the greatest, and I don't think he was ever found.
You would think, as big and successful and how much money Walmart has and is worth, you would think, and also how much people steal on a daily basis from Walmart, you would think that the security cameras will be 4K. 4K, zoom and enhance, or 5K, 6K, all that.
The thing still makes me scared to think about. Was the man trying to taunt me or something? I really hope that somehow he is caught. I don't live there anymore, and I don't work at Walmart anymore either.
So, are you still cool with your roommate? Because I feel like your roommate was in cahoots. It's okay. You're going to learn.
I went to Walmart to buy some things one night. It was a little bit late, but I didn't mind. In fact, I probably preferred that because the store was much quieter and easier to shop around. After entering Walmart, I got a few things. By the time I was in the store for maybe 10 minutes, I was in the very back. I was in a quiet aisle buying some dog food for my dog Zeke. As I was there, this man started spying on me. I didn't notice him at first because it was kind of hard to tell, but when I looked to the end of the aisle, I saw this guy peeking around the corner. I could only see his head and part of his shoulder. The man was just staring at me and was also wearing sunglasses. I thought that maybe he was just messing around to be funny or something.
That's not funny. That's not funny. What are you talking about? You had a weird, sick-ass sense of humor.
Noticed him. He had no reaction though. He didn't move away quickly or move into the aisle. He didn't smile or laugh either. So I just ignored him and kept shopping. The man stayed there. When I had the dog food, I put it into my cart and started to leave, but I went out the other end of the aisle. That's when the man finally moved. I didn't bother to go after him or anything, and I just kept shopping. Then I moved to another department of the store. I figured that I probably wouldn't see the guy again, but I was wrong.
You were so wrong. 100%. You were dead ass wrong. You cannot be more wrong. You see somebody spying on you. That person sees you see them. And you think you're not going to see them again? What?
When I was over in the grocery department, I saw the man once more. He was just staring at me like he was trying to act creepy on purpose. I looked away and quickly ignored him. He was sort of far away from me, so I wasn't too nervous or anything. When I looked back to him again, he was still looking at me, but then quickly moved away.
Nobody else see
this? The guy was
this?
being a general creep, I would say. I kept shopping, moving locations again to another part of the store. I looked around and saw the man there again. He was sort of hiding behind one of the displays and looking at me. When he noticed that I saw him, this time he moved back behind the display really quickly and was out of my view. I didn't know what this guy's problem was. For the final couple of minutes that I was shopping, I didn't see the guy. I hurried up and went to the checkouts.
Can you imagine how crazy that shit looked from like somebody else's point of view?
I paid for my stuff and looked around, thinking that I would see the man again somewhere staring at me, but I did not see him at all. So either he was hiding really good or he'd stopped spying on me. Either way, I got my stuff and quickly headed for the exits. When I had made it out of Walmart, I looked around carefully. I didn't see the man at all. I made it to my car, got inside, and then started it up.
Okay.
When I was driving away, I finally noticed the man again. He was hiding in a bush and staring at me with this creepy smile as I drove away. Obviously, he couldn't chase me or anything like that, and I easily made it away from him. I was left wondering why he kept following me and acting so weird. I didn't go to that Walmart for a while. I wasn't trying to avoid him or anything, but I just didn't happen to go there. When I've been back since then, though, I obviously haven't seen him.
That was a club ass right there. Prime example. I felt like you were trying to avoid him, though. I would have.
I work at Walmart, and this is something that took place not too long ago. At Walmart stores, you could...
Can you imagine starting a conversation? Talking about something. I work at, look, let me tell you something. I work at Walmart. And then the other person be like, okay, hold on. You just said a lot all at once at me. You just said a lot of yeah at me right now. And I'm just trying to take it all in. You know? You're talking about you work at Walmart. That's a lot for me to take in right now.
Shop online, and at our store there's a bunch of parking spaces dedicated to online orders. When somebody orders online, they can drive to one of the parking spaces and somebody who works at Walmart will bring out their items and put them in their car for them.
Where was that?
This was one of my tasks at Walmart occasionally when this story took place. I would bring out the orders and put them into people's cars in the parking lot. We had almost an entire row of parking spaces in the lot dedicated to this.
Damn!
Each had a number so we knew which car to bring the orders to. One night I was working and doing this for a while. After a few hours, things started to really quiet down. I didn't have nearly as many orders to bring out. At one point, I saw there was just 2 cars parked in those rows. I brought out an order and went back inside and did not get another one for at least 20 more minutes. Then I had to bring one out, which was pretty small, so that was a little strange. I was used to the orders being like 5 or 10 bags of stuff. This one was just one small bag.
What?
I didn't really think too much of it though, and was just glad that it would be easier. I got the car and parking space to bring the order to, and then I left the store to bring it out.
Now, hey, I'm not gonna lie. You got lucky with that one. With that one item, you got lucky. Can you imagine that one item is taking you forever? Unless you know the store like that, it's taking you for... Can you imagine being brand new at Walmart? Like, you don't even know how Walmart works. You've never been to Walmart. This is your first day on the job. And you get one order to shop for a customer. It's taking you forever to get that one item.
I made it out there. I remembered that this was one of the 2 cars that I had seen there during the last order. They must have gotten there really early. It was a dark gray, older looking, large SUV. The windows also appeared fairly tinted. I walked out there and headed to the driver's window. I was planning to just hand them the bag. Before I made it there though, I saw the window roll down just a crack. I couldn't see the driver, but I heard a man's voice say, "Put it in the trunk."
What?
The window then rolled back up quickly. So I stopped and then walked around to the back side of the vehicle. At that point, I got to the rear hatch and swung it open. As soon as I did, I saw that there were no far back row of seats in the car. Instead, there were these 2 guys wearing all dark clothing and masks covering their heads. One of them came up and quickly grabbed me and started trying to pull me into the car. My instincts took over and I started tugging back, trying to get away. The other guy also started pulling me inside the car without leaving the car.
No, but
It was 2 against 1, but they did not have great leverage being inside the vehicle and me being out of it. We struggled, and one of the guys put his arm around my head. He covered my mouth so that I couldn't scream or yell for help.
damn.
It felt like a really long time that the struggle was going on. I really don't know how long exactly it was, maybe a minute. I remember that after what felt like forever, I heard footsteps a ways away. Then I heard a man's voice shouting from behind me. After a few more seconds of struggle, I was let go. In fact, I was pushed back and I fell to the ground about 5 feet behind the vehicle. Then the trunk slammed shut and the SUV quickly screeched away, squealing the tires in the process. When the car was gone, the man's voice who I had heard came up to me. He asked if I was okay and what had just happened. It was an older guy who must have seen what was going on and came over. I told him that the guys had just tried to pull me into the car and I didn't know why. The man said he was calling the police and then went inside the Walmart store with me. I told my manager what happened, and within like 5 minutes the cops were there. I talked to them for a while, but I couldn't give them a license plate or a description of the men because they were wearing masks. After that, I was able to go home. It was a very terrifying experience. I don't do that at Walmart anymore, but I still work there. I don't think those men were ever found. Looking back, it's eerie to think of how I had noticed the car long before the order was made, and the fact that the order was so small. Were they just sitting there planning to kidnap me when they saw me working?
Yes.
I'm also really grateful to the man who saw what was going on, or they might have been able to get me in the vehicle.
Whole time, did nobody else see what was going on? Or did everybody just mind their business?
I live in an apartment building currently that's right across the street from a Walmart.
Wow.
To paint a picture, my apartment building has 5 levels and I'm on the top floor. My apartment is in the back side of the building, and my windows overlook a small grassy area. Next to that is a sidewalk and then the street. Right across the street is the Walmart. The Walmart does not face my apartment, so I kind of see it from the side. However, I can still see a good amount of the parking lot. It's kind of interesting to look out of my window most of the time, because being that high up, you can see all the things going on down below, such as people walking on the sidewalk, cars driving by, and people coming and going from the Walmart store. Sometimes I like to people watch when things are busy.
Oh, yeah.
One night I was at home and happened to glance out of the window. It was pretty late, about 10-something p.m. By now the sidewalks were empty and the roads were pretty quiet too. Only the occasional car would pass by. The Walmart parking lot still had a lot of vehicles in it, but much less than earlier. The store would be closing soon, so most of the vehicles belonged to the employees. I didn't see any people walking in the parking lot, but I kept watching outside. It was kind of relaxing to just stand there and look out of the window.
Really?
About a minute went by, and then I saw a man walk out of the Walmart building. He turned to the left, and then he started walking towards the sidewalk by the Walmart, which was closer to me. I kept watching him, not really giving it much thought. The man then walked off that sidewalk and started walking across the street right in the middle of it.
Hold on.
He was not going on a crosswalk or anything like that, but there were no cars around, so it was fine. But as he was walking in the middle of the road, he looked up and seemed to notice me.
Oh.
Even though I was pretty far away, I guess that I was more noticeable now. I mean, my apartment lights were on, and I was just standing there in the giant window staring out. A lot of the other apartment lights were probably off, which made mine more noticeable. The man continued to look at me as he walked across the street. I figured that he would get to the sidewalk and then walk down it, but no. As he made it across, he then started pointing at me, and he was not smiling or anything like that. I was far away, but if anything, he appeared angry. For some reason, I didn't move away from the window though. I kept watching him. The man walked right through the grass area towards the apartment building. I didn't think that he lived here, but I guess it was possible. There was a back door near the grassy area. Some people would use it to go out and smoke in the grassy area sometimes. I watched the man walk to the back door, all while still looking at me and pointing. Then he tried to open the door, but it was locked. He just started standing around by it and looking up at me the whole time. I realized that he didn't live there, or else he would have had a key and been able to enter, but I also didn't know what he was doing. I was too curious. I was not waving at him or anything. Why did this guy care so much that I was watching him? Looking back, I probably should have just walked away. I really don't know why I didn't.
Because you're watching him. What? You're probably the only person watching him.
But I found it so off how the man was just staring at me and pointing at me, now clearly looking angry. After a while, I tried to smile and wave at the guy to be nice. He didn't react well and kept doing what he was doing. This was really weird. Then I saw the back door open. Some guy left to go smoke a cigarette. Just then, I saw the man quickly head to the door and then make it inside before it shut. When that happened, my heart sank. He was now inside of the building. I turned off all my lights then and moved away from the window. Probably 5 minutes later, I heard somebody...
That probably doesn't help you at all. Cutting your lights off now after it's been what? I don't know, 10 minutes? 15 minutes? He probably knows exactly where you live.
By opening my apartment door, I knew who it was. He violently tried the doorknob like 5 times before banging on the door. I didn't answer it. I didn't even bother to go close to the door. I was really creeped out now. The man loudly banged on the door a few more times. I was in the other room, hoping that he would leave. The guy waited maybe 30 seconds and then banged again. Finally, I heard footsteps walking away. Only then did I go over to the front door.
Did they walk away? Or was it like one of those, like, fake walk away? Like, you know what I mean? Like this. I hope he's still not there.
Look out of it. The man was finally gone. After that, I got ready for bed and went to sleep.
Is he gone?
I haven't seen that man since. I don't know what his problem was or why he was so determined to get to me, but...
What are you talking? You were staring at him. What? You're minding his business. To be honest, that was probably your fault.
I'm really glad that he didn't.
Big ass window, you outside, looking at him, staring him down.
I used to work at Walmart many years ago.
Right.
This was about 10 years back now, and I was much younger at the time. It was one of my first jobs, and overall, it was okay. What I mostly did in my time at Walmart was to push the carts in the parking lot. This job might seem easy, but it actually got pretty tough sometimes. For one, I lived in a climate that got pretty cold, and I would be outside in the winter. But also, so many people shopped at the Walmart and used the carts that it was hard to otherwise keep up. The other workers that would push carts would always call in, and I would be stuck all by myself in the whole parking lot. At my Walmart, there was also some crazy drivers, which made pushing a bunch of carts in at once a challenge. Still...
Like, bro, hey! I know you see me with these 10 carts. Chill out. Drive correctly, because I know you see me. You hit me, I promise you it's on and popping. You got the right one today.
I feel like I did a pretty good job most of the time. One of the other problems that we had sometimes, though, was that people would not put the carts back where they belong.
Yeah.
There were a good number of cart returns. Sometimes they would fill up and overflow.
You know what I hate seeing? It's because I've been a cart pusher before. Well, that was one of my job descriptions or job things I was supposed to be doing. Among like other things, but like when I like handled the carts, even to this day, why do some people come out their store with their groceries, come all the way to the car, put their groceries in the car, take the cart back to the front, and leave it outside? If you went out of your way to do all of that, I farted, excuse me. If you went out of your way to do all of that, why not just take the extra 5 steps of putting the cart back with the other carts? What? Or you know what's another one? Is when they put their groceries up, right? And literally the cart corral outside is like probably like two parking spaces over. And you decide to put the cart like, I don't know, like a parking space over. What you doing? The car corral is right there. It's going to take you, what, all of 15 seconds? All right, I'm done.
And other times, people would just not put the carts back and leave them scattered around the parking lot. And even occasionally, sometimes, people would steal the carts. So one night, I was out in the parking lot working. The weather was nice, so that was good. I was working until like 10 p.m. or something like that. At around 9 o'clock, things were pretty quiet. There were not as many customers at the store anymore, and I had just gotten the carts full again. So now I had a little more time, and I was going around the parking lot and getting the stray carts. I collected several from one side of the lot and then went to the other. When I was at the east side of the lot, which was generally the quieter side, I saw a man pushing a cart. However, the cart that the man was pushing was empty, and he was at the far back corner of the parking lot starting to go off the property. I was wondering if he was going to steal the cart. He didn't look homeless at all or anything, and again, nothing was in the cart, so I wasn't sure what he was doing. I started to walk over towards the man. He kept going and was soon off of our property.
Okay, then at that point, that's your cart. That's your cart. You got it. You got it. Hey, another thing. When I was a cart pusher, or a cart, whatever, if the cart was just too far for me to get, like I can see the cart, but if it's like, you know, like 6 miles that way, I'm not getting it. That's tough.
He went into a parking lot that was next to ours for some other business that was closed by now. In that parking lot, it was almost completely empty, but there were a few cars scattered around. There was also a U-Haul type truck that was parked there. The man kept going towards the truck. When I had finally caught up to him, I called out to the man. I asked him what he was doing with the cart. The man completely ignored me and kept going. When he made it to the truck, another man got out from the driver's seat of it. He met the other guy, and then right in front of me, as if I wasn't even there, they went around and opened the back of the truck. I asked what was going on, and the man glanced.
Yo, come on, man. Come, you doing too much. Dead ass, you doing too much. It's like you're risking your job. You're risking your possible life over one cart. Out of what? How many other carts? 200 cart, like 300, like it's one cart. You acting like if you miss a cart, that's your life. That's your job. What?
Over at me, but I was once again ignored. Then they lifted the cart into the truck, which I could see had some other junk in it. After that, I yelled at them to stop and said that they couldn't do that. The men looked over, but still ignored me. I was angry now and felt disrespected. I started walking over to them, and they shut the door to the back of the truck, and then started walking to the front of it. I got in their way, and they kind of shoved me. When this happened, I thought about trying to fight them, but I thought better of it.
What?
I went back to the other end of the truck, and then tried to open the back door to get the cart, but it was locked. Then they started to reverse the truck, nearly hitting me, and I just barely got out of the way on time. They quickly drove off, and were gone. It was very weird. I didn't know what on earth had just happened. I went back to the Walmart and just kept getting carts after that. When my shift was over, I reported the stolen cart to my boss, who said, "Yeah, you win some, you lose some. Tonight you lost." Something about the guys who stole the carts, though, seemed really strange. How did they just completely ignore me? And why did they even want to steal a shopping cart in the first place? For the most part, though, I decided to forget it. I kept on working at Walmart. A few nights later, though, I was working again. It became another quiet night similar to the one before. I was walking around the parking lot and collecting carts towards the end of my shift again. Then I saw that same type of U-Haul truck. Of course, I didn't know for sure if this was the same one as before or not. There are probably many trucks that look just like that around. Still, I was curious. The truck was parked in the far back corner of the parking lot at the end row pretty much by itself. As I walked over there, I decided that I would go and see. I got closer and closer and then approached the truck. I was heading for the passenger side front window. As soon as I got within maybe 5 feet, I could see the same 2 guys were inside. The truck suddenly took off, very quickly driving away. It was the same truck with the same guys. But what were they doing just sitting there? Were they planning to steal another shopping cart?
Yup.
I'm not sure. After that, I didn't see those guys again. So maybe they went to a different Walmart to steal carts from. I'm not sure, but it was pretty strange.
Yeah, you win some and you lose some. It's not that serious. It's not serious at all, to be honest with you.
I went to Walmart really early one morning at about 6:30 a.m.
Damn.
For those who don't know, most Walmarts open at 6 o'clock in the morning, so I was going there at a good time because the store probably wouldn't be that busy yet. This was before work for me and not too long after I got up. When I went inside the store, indeed it was pretty quiet. There were a good amount of workers though. As I made my way around the store, I was not there for that long, but I was there long enough to see this one guy who struck me as pretty strange. Because I remember as I was walking past some aisles, the guy was walking towards me from the other way. When he got closer, I could see that not only was he not wearing any shoes, but he had these really wide eyes. It was like he was opening them as wide as he possibly could. He was not looking at me at first, but when I got closer, he started to look at me. It just looked very strange. Other than that, the guy had sort of long blondish colored hair and was wearing a black t-shirt and black pants. He kept his eyes on me as I passed, and I looked away. I started shopping around for what I needed and hoped that I wouldn't see the guy again. However, when I was leaving the aisle to walk away, I saw him again. This time he was walking back in the direction that he had originally come from. He did basically the same thing as before and was staring at me with really wide eyes. Overall, the guy just looked very unsettling. Maybe he was on drugs or something. I left the Walmart and then went back home before going to work. As the day went on, I forgot about the strange man. Obviously, I didn't think I would ever see him again. Now, I can't remember why, but I had to go to Walmart again that night. I must have forgot to buy something the first time that I was there or something. Maybe the guy had creeped me out and caused me to forget. I just know that I went back to that Walmart that same night at like 9 or 10 o'clock. It was pretty late. I was just getting like one thing. When I was inside there though, I saw the same man again. He was wearing exactly the same thing, including no shoes. He walked down the same aisle that I was in with the same wide eyes. I was so shocked to see him again and also creeped out that I just left. I stopped what I was doing, put back what I was going to get, and just walked right out of the store. I haven't been back to Walmart since.
You made the right decision.
This happened a couple of years ago. I went to Walmart one night to do some shopping. I go there all the time because I've always lived pretty close to a Walmart. They have cheap prices and a good selection of just about anything you could want. So when I got there, it was a little bit later at night, maybe 9 o'clock or so if I had to guess. The store wasn't that busy anymore as the evening rush had ended. So I took a cart and started shopping around, getting what I needed. As I had been shopping inside the store for maybe 20 minutes, I heard something strange over the store speakers. Normally they play music at a lower volume, but the music stopped. Then I heard somebody say my name, and I realized that someone was calling for me. I had no idea who would do this or why. It was like when you get lost as a kid, and your mom has them call you to the front of the store. I had not the slightest of ideas as to why they would be calling for me, but I was curious, so I headed up to the front of the store. I went to guest services, and there was a woman there who I talked to. I asked her why somebody called for me on the store speakers. She acted like it didn't even happen. I told her about it, and the woman said she didn't know what I was talking about.
It's probably her.
So either she wasn't paying attention, or she completely denied it. The voice had been a male's voice, though, so it wasn't her who had called me.
Oh.
The possibility of a prank crossed my mind, but I still didn't know of anybody who would do that. I just decided to continue on with my shopping. So I went back to where I had been, which was on the complete other end of the store. I didn't have that much more shopping to do. I finished up and then headed to the front of the store. There, I used the self-checkout, paid for everything, and then left. In my entire time in the store, I hadn't noticed anything strange other than that call, and after it, I paid closer attention to my surroundings. So, as I stepped out of the store and I was walking to my car in the parking lot, suddenly my cell phone started ringing. I stopped and took it out of my pocket to see who was calling me. When I did, it was a number that I did not recognize. For some reason, I decided to answer it, and I'm glad that I did. I heard a man's voice on the other end. He said, "Hi," and then mentioned my name. I asked who he was because I didn't recognize the voice. He then said that he was currently inside of my car. I was really creeped out when I heard that.
Okay.
I asked again who he was, but he just hung up on me. I didn't want to go to my car and find out if he was bluffing or not, so I went back inside the Walmart. Then I called my boyfriend George, and he said that he would come to the Walmart. I waited inside and got another call from the number, but I didn't answer it. I was too creeped out. Finally, George arrived. He walked out to my car with me, and then carefully we looked inside. There was nobody in there. What was going on? Then I got another call. This time, George told me to answer it and put it on speaker. The voice said, "I can see you and your little friend."
Oh.
Whoever this was could clearly still see me. It had to be somebody in the parking lot. I told George that we should just get out of there. I quickly got inside my car, and George went back to his. Then George followed me when leaving. Nobody else followed us out of the parking lot, and I got back to my apartment safely. Then I blocked the number. After that, I never had anything strange like that take place. I'm not sure to this day who that was or what was going on there.
I can't explain that.
I had a creepy experience at Walmart a while back. So I was there one evening to do some shopping. Right when I got there, I noticed that the store was pretty busy. After entering the store, I headed to the right. Then I had to go back across the store to get to the grocery department. When I was walking over there, I saw a man who had climbed up on top of a shelf in an aisle.
What?
He was up there for no reason other than to just stand there, it appeared, and he was clearly not supposed to be up there. It seemed crazy to me. A few people were noticing him and looking at him, wondering why he was climbing up there. Then I noticed an employee go over to him and tell him to get down. I remember hearing him say no in response, but I just kept walking and minded my own business. I went over to the groceries and continued with my shopping. I ended up being over there for a while, getting a good amount of stuff. When I was finally almost done shopping, I went to another part of the store to get paper towels. It was one of my last items. This aisle was much more quiet than the others. As I was back there, I remembered that I noticed that same guy again, the one who had been standing on top of the shelf. Except now, he was hiding. It was an aisle with the paper towels and stuff, so he was hiding behind a bunch of the products.
Oh!
It's one of those aisles that I've seen people make forts in before. He was not well visible, but from the angle that I was at, I could see him. After I was looking at him for a few seconds, he turned and looked at me. I didn't really care what he was doing or why he was hiding, so I pretty much just ignored him. I turned and started to walk away. But when I did, I heard the man start to emerge from his hiding spot. Maybe he thought that I was going to turn him in or something, I don't know, but I wasn't going to. Really, I was just going to leave to check out. But after hearing the man leaving his area, I heard him start to walk towards me at a pretty quick speed. That's when I turned around. As soon as I did, the man was right on me, and he pushed me down, knocking me to the ground.
What?
I fell back, and the man then ran off. I was not injured or anything, but it did hurt. I got up and was now really angry. I found an employee and did report him. I was told that they were already looking for the guy. By the time that I had made it to the front of the store to check out, I saw that the police were there. I decided to talk to an officer about the guy shoving me because I was still mad about it. And it wasn't just a couple of police officers there. It was like 10 of them.
Damn.
So they went to the Walmart to find him as I checked out. I heard some yelling and screaming coming from deeper in the store. After I left, I saw them leaving with the man a short time later. I'm not sure why he acted so crazy, but I'm glad that he was caught.
Jesus. Every time you go to Walmart, tighten up your surroundings, tighten up your what's the names? Your checklist, tighten up, your senses, your red flags, the whole nine. Every time you go to Walmart, do that. Tighten up on everything. Even out in the parking lot. Point blank, period. That's it. Keep it cool, keep it classy, and I love you. Stay happy. My family.